So first off, thanks, Car, and everyone for putting this together. I love Bitcoin events. You know, we go to too many of these every year. Last TabConf, I was having a conversation with Car that was supposed to take 5 minutes, and then it was like maybe an hour long. And then he called me a couple weeks ago, months ago, and said, hey, I want you to give that exact same conversation at PlebLab at the Top Builder event. And I said, okay, how does that work? What exactly do you want me to talk about? And he said, just inspire. You know, these are a bunch of founders. Inspire. Tell them like it is. And so as I was thinking about it, really what I was telling Car at the time was being a founder sucks. And I'll walk through why it sucks. And trust me, there's more to this. I'm not just shitting on founders. So a little bit about myself, André Neves. You can find me on Nostr. This is pretty cool. Nostr, Lightning address, and email on the same one. So André at ZEBEDEE. I'm the co-founder and CTO of ZEBEDEE. We have both the B2B arm of our business, which is APIs, SDKs, if you want to process, transactions in Bitcoin and Lightning, and you can put that into games, applications, services, platforms. And then also we have the ZEBEDEE app, right, which is the entry point for gamers, for anyone trying to interact with Bitcoin and Lightning, as well as Nostr. Lesser known, I'm also the co-founder of 21. 21 is a R&D studio in Brazil. So we've raised some funds and we support and foster the Bitcoin community and development space in Brazil. We actually just opened our Casa 21 in São Paulo. So if you find yourself in São Paulo and you want a similar environment and similar hacker space, hit us up. And if you're looking to support LATAM activities, yeah. So that's me. And ZEBEDEE is almost 5 years old. I think that's probably why I'm allowed to be on stage here talking about something. We've been through some of the things. So let's get started. Why does being a founder suck? Founders, like myself included, you represent something that folks don't usually want, right? Let's think about in any industry right now, we are in most industries are pre-Bitcoin, right? Let's call it that. Very few people and very few businesses are post-Bitcoin. So all of the pre-Bitcoin folks and businesses and industries, to them, you are change. You are disruption. Change equals unknown. Incumbents don't like unknowns. They like to know what's going to happen next month, next week, and next 6 years. So you represent something that incumbents are afraid of. You represent disruption. It really is you against everyone, okay? You just have to put that in your head that people are against you. And they're so against you that you're going about your business on a random Tuesday and you're trying to write code for these 7 new APIs that your customers have needs for, or you're releasing a new version of the app, and lo and behold, you open your email and fucking MailChimp deplatformed you, right? What does that have to do with anything? I'm just trying to run my email marketing. For those who don't know, MailChimp is basic email marketing. Why can't I just run email marketing? And then, okay, so I can no longer ship these things that I was going to ship today or this week. And actually, my A/B test that's been running for 2.5 weeks just broke because now data is all flawed. Shit, now I have to redo all of that again. Okay, so you spend 2 weeks moving your entire email marketing, your customer journeys, and everything over to another email provider just to discover that, yeah, fuck you again, you're gone. So SaaS providers are not your friends, okay? You depend on them. These are vendors. They will drop you, right? It's just the reality. And the world is so against you, and in this case in Bitcoin, it's so against you that let's say you raise some money, you have a product, you're trying to go for product market fit, let's go for that release and market the hell out of this. Great, okay, let's throw some ads. And so you say, cool, Twitter, can I do ads for my product because it touches Bitcoin and so on? And they say, actually, kinda, not really. You need to be a fully licensed payment service provider. And if you don't show us licenses, then you can't. Okay, so we can't do that. I'm a team of 3 and I just raised some money. Then you go to Reddit, you can kind of do it, not really. Facebook, well, my Instagram account 3 months ago was shadow banned because I wrote the word Bitcoin. So then actually my Meta account is connected to my Instagram account, so I can't do ads on Facebook, right? This is reality. These are things that people have told me we've run into. Like, you cannot run ads. App stores will allow you to run ads, but you can't use any of these 10,000 keywords. So you can't use Bitcoin, you can't use money, you can't use rewards, you can't get, so, okay, here's my product, just, how do you advertise? You don't. It's incredibly hard to advertise. And it's funny because a lot of founders call me and they're like, hey, any advice, things that I should worry about, things that I should do. And we're in an industry that prides itself, and we even used this term a lot, right? Bank the unbanked and so on and so on. I guess now we don't say that very often, but a lot of startup founders in Bitcoin right now are literally begging for bank accounts. At the end of the day, you still need an operating banking account to run your business, and a lot of people have trouble doing this. So it's tough. It's tough being a founder. Your product's great, but you can't even get bank accounts. And so it could be a SaaS provider. It could be your bank account provider, whatever it is. You will do your due diligence on your vendors, and you will still get them wrong. Okay, you will find that you will put faith in the wrong partners and the wrong vendors, and whether you are a tiny customer for them, whether they're doing cost cutting, whether they're going through budget constraints, whether they just don't care and are getting acquired next month, they will drop you. And whether it's your KYC provider will say, screw you, we're out. Similar to MailChimp, right? You will depend on these vendors and they will let you just die. And then on top of all that, the world is against you. Every provider is tough on you. You can't really depend on them. I'll say this, I hope everyone here knows this, but no one actually gives a crap about Bitcoin out there, okay? They don't. They don't care about hard money. You talk about hard money, the first question is like, what is hard? Like, why is money hard? I don't understand that. Is that a thing? And then you have to explain to them a soft money, and you lost them, right? And you can talk about censorship resistant, but I'm a 22-year-old in Caltech. Like, how does that make sense to me? I don't understand censorship resistance. So I use the term a lot, like meet the customer where they are. You can't just expect that everyone's going to get the value of Bitcoin. No one really cares about Bitcoin, so you have to care. And most people are just plugged into the matrix. That's how I like to frame it. They don't care. No one cares, okay? It's just reality. Out there, they don't. You do. You care. I care. We all care. But because you care so freaking much, you're going to be caught in politics. Yeah, okay, Bitcoin, Twitter, politics, and all that, but like you're going to be called into GitHub and IRC channels and mailing list devs and all that kind of stuff, and you'll have to have opinions because you live and breathe Bitcoin, and that's your company, and so on and so on. And when you have opinions, you have to defend them, right? And so how do you defend opinions? You support them. You build upon that capability. You build upon that feature. If there's any founder out there that's running enterprise level businesses that tell you Bitcoin development is slow, they're wrong. How do you prioritize things? Let's say you have customers that need these 2 new APIs, but also you want to implement simple taproot channels. Or full RBF is now the name of the game. So you could do that for 2 weeks, or you can improve latency for a customer, which can earn you more money, right? Like, how do you balance your business needs versus Bitcoin? So, and it's not just Bitcoin, it's Lightning too. These things are very, very fast, and you can't just always be at the, we tend to be at least 2 versions behind on basic things like LND. Not full versions behind, but we can't always update. We can't always have the latest. Right? It moves really, really fast. Prioritizing this type of stuff is super hard. And you are a lover of Bitcoin, so you want to push Bitcoin forward, and you want to do the simple taproot. You want to do all the things, but there's simply not enough time. You'll have no life. Period. There's no life. But like, for a founder, you are life, you are work, your life is work, work is, do you see what I mean? It's the notion that you as a founder have a work-life balance is just a paradox. It's not really a concept, because if it's 2 a.m. and your production servers go down, it's you online trying to solve it. If something happens to your, God forbid, your keys, it's on you. This notion of work-life balance is very flawed. I would very much say that as a founder, you're basically throwing that card out. And you're saying, I will, I was just talking to Ryan, and people go to weddings and you have to work during weddings because something happens, right? If you have a 9 to 5, you can talk about work-life balance. If you're a founder, you have no life. And because you have no life, you also won't sleep. It's a sad reality that most days I wake up 4 minutes before my alarm rings. 5:57 or 3 minutes. You're so stressed, man. every decision can be a life or death decision at the company. Any decision could mean that you don't hit metrics, product market fit. You have to go to a board and defend that you're still going, right? You will be at the heights of the heights on Monday morning, and then you're going to be at the lowest of the lowest on Monday noon, okay? Like, it's literally a roller coaster. And if you find time to nap, please nap, because you don't sleep. You never sleep. It's just how it works. And from experience, you will lose hair. Whether you pull it out from your own head because you can't get through this problem, or you're just, like myself, losing your hair. But yeah, you will go bald and you will age like crazy. Every year, it feels like a decade, and it's too much. And most of my friends are like 75 years old now. Like, that's how it usually goes. No, it takes a toll on you, right? You will go bald, or then you'll start dyeing your hair like this so you don't show it so much. So I recently listened to an interview from I think it was Elon. Fuck Elon. I listened to an interview from him, and basically one of the questions that the interviewer had was around, so what's it like, being the CEO of Tesla and doing all these amazing things and so on? Like, what's it actually like? And he said it's the worst job ever. And I really related to that. Of course, ZEBEDEE, Tesla, we're exactly the same, right? Clearly. But, it is the worst job. So let me explain. At the IC level, whether if you're a designer, engineer, manager, whatever it is, a product manager, you have your problems, you solve them at that level. And then you talk to your peers, your other ICs, and you solve them at that level. Great. If it goes up, you got to escalate, it goes to a manager, and then it got escalated again, it goes to a VP, and then it goes to the SVP. So if a problem reaches you at that point, it is the worst problem to have. It's a problem that no one wants to solve, or no one can solve. No one wants to point the direction because it could be a life and death decision. It's literally the worst job. I can't explain it. It's the toughest decisions always bubble up to the top. And it's all on your shoulders. There's no one else that's going to make that call, right? You're the founder. You're going to make that call. But no pressure. And somehow you're going to have like 100 hours of meetings per day. So I don't know how, but that occurs. Then on team, right? A company is not just you. I think, if I think the first 5-ish, 10-ish, maybe people, you tend to find them within your wider network, right? Or friends of friends network, colleagues of colleagues, et cetera. And those people you can really, connect and understand and so on. But what happens if you're a developer founder and you have to hire your first compliance analyst, right? Like, how do you gauge that? Or I don't know, a copywriter, maybe let's say that's none of your thing. And like, okay, how do you, so hiring talented people outside of your expertise is really hard. I'll say that. It's like incredibly hard because it's very hard to discern what is true or false, what is good and bad, really, what is just hearsay and good speaking capabilities versus can they actually walk the walk, right? So it's incredibly hard, and it's important to note that these are the people that are going to go to war with you. So alongside you. So you need to pick them right, and it's really hard. And in the same vein, you're going to have to fire people, whether it's because, you have budget constraints or things aren't going your way or performance issues, you're going to have some of the most, let's call it, hardest calls and meetings you'll have to have are if you ever have to let go of someone who has been growing this business with you, right? So let's say you get a partner developer or a founding engineer or someone, and after a year and a half of battling every week and so on, maybe things aren't working, or maybe, they are no longer working with you and you have to let them go. This is someone who's maybe even more than a friend. It's a brother, it's a sister. It's like, it's literally that person that's been there for you through and through, and you'll have to fire them. Like, it's hard. Like, you just have to do it. And because of that, it's your job solely. It's solely your job to maintain culture. Culture is very intangible. It's hard to maintain. It's not something you can point at. Maintaining culture is incredibly hard. you can't send a manager or let's build a little culture committee to fix the culture. That's some cringe shit. Like, no, that doesn't work. You're the founder. You need to instill the values. You instill the culture. You tell them what things need to be valued. It's very hard. And so you're the only one that can fix it. So on top of having the world against you, you don't sleep, all of these problems, you have the worst job, you also have to tell everyone how they should act, right? They need to perceive the company in a certain way. It's so hard. And you will think that you are amazing. You're going to think that you're amazing and that you can solve this problem and that other thing, and you can self-host this and you can self-host that other thing, and you can run everything yourself, and then you're going to fail left and right. It's just reality, okay? You're going to fail. Get used to it, get back up, but you're going to fail. You're going to aim for perfection on too many fronts, and you're going to get, it's too much to hold for one person or one team. And then hopefully your company, starts going big, or your expertise takes you places, and you get to travel the world, and you get invited to dinners, you get invited to conferences and events, and you get to meet some of the folks that you hold highly in your mind in the industry, right? You get to meet some of your heroes. They all suck. They all suck, okay? Just let them die. They all suck. It's fine. Just like you suck too, but your heroes suck. They're just normal people. Get used to it. Nothing magical about them. Meet them, but then remove the mask because it's not that big. And then this is just a general advice. Find something to punch. Not a person or a wall. If you're a developer, it really hurts here, okay? Go to Rage Ground in your city, go do some boxing or something. Just find something to punch, because things are not going to go your way. You're going to want to hit your head. That's also bad. Don't do that. Just punch pillow, or just punch something. You're going to want to relieve some stress. All right. So why are we here, man? This thing sucks. The world is against you. Every vendor wants you dead, and no one wants to give you money. It's hard to have a bank account. It's hard to hire. You can't even keep the people. You have to let them go. Why are we here? Why am I here after 5 years? Why are you all here? That's because you're all a bunch of psychos. I'm a psycho too. We're insane. We're literally insane. Think about it. You create this thing in your head, and then you say, I'm going to do this. What crazy person does that? I'm going to quit everything and I'm going to pursue this idea I have in my head. That's insane. You're obsessed with this problem. You're obsessed with it. You're relentless. You don't stop until you solve it, right? And the way I like to frame it, it's Bitcoin founders are even a different kind of, it's a different breed of founders. The world is against you as a founder. The world is much more against you as a Bitcoin founder, right? And so, I jokingly say that Bitcoin founders are those that lived in the colloquial Arrakis, coming out of, the sand and the spice, literally braving the storm and coming out and saying we are the ones, because there's no other way. It's unstoppable, right? And this is the very famous Steve Jobs quote, you're psycho, you're insane, you're crazy. That's why it works. You have to be crazy. I don't think it's founder crazy or synonyms. It's just how it is. You have to be. So let me amend the title of the talk, okay? Being a founder sucks is not really it. It's one of the toughest things you do, but it's the most rewarding thing you'll ever do in your life. Period. I stand by that wholeheartedly. And it's because you'll discover yourself in ways you have never thought about. You'll reach limits, whether it's stress limits, whether it's physical limits, whether it's, crying in the bathroom at 4 a.m. after all your servers have crashed and you have no idea what to do. You will discover yourself. You will also discover that you have different values than you thought you had, because you're going to be put to test on an interpersonal basis and a professional basis. Everything that you do is putting you to the test. So you'll discover parts of yourself you didn't know. And then you're going to grow. College was 4 years. Sure, whatever. If you did college, whatever. I think I've done 10 colleges in the 4.5 years of ZEBEDEE. You grow so much. One day you turn around and you're suddenly an expert in 17 different disciplines, and you had no idea what, how, when did that happen? And the perks of founders, you can, yes, you can lean on your network, you have support, you can lean on advisors, investors, all your board, the whole thing, yes. But at the end of the day, it's you. You have to learn it. You have to learn by doing. And, any self-taught person will tell you that is the best way to learn. Throw yourself in the fire and solve it. So you'll grow like crazy. The last 4.5 years have been insane. So when you're having the worst day, like when you're having the worst day, think back to that one customer that you got into Bitcoin. And that's net positive, and then try to sleep with that. Because if your business is a wallet or an enterprise or an API provider, if you're getting people into Bitcoin, teaching them about Bitcoin, processing payments in Bitcoin, whatever, right? If you're getting them into the new money of the world or the future, you're already having an impact. So try to hold on to these little wins when shit hits the fan, because it helps you get back up. So anyone that you get into Bitcoin is net positive. But your products and services will literally change lives because of the impact they'll have. I come back to this story. In 2021, we released Infused CSGO. So Counter-Strike, the CSGO part. Yeah, so in 2021, we released the Infused CSGO. So CSGO is the Counter-Strike, right? 1.6 before the new version came out. And you can mod it, right? So we modded it to add real Bitcoin into the game. So not only did we have physical 3D Bitcoins that you walked and you picked it up, but if I shoot you and your life goes down, you drop physical Bitcoin and I pick it up, and then like sats or slingshot back and forth. So super cool, super exciting. But the thing is, these are microtransactions of sats. The problem is a lot of the gamers were not in the US. And so 100 sats is worth quite a bit of money. And so what happened is a lot of our user base in 2021 was in Brazil. And they love Counter-Strike. And so over the span of like 6 months, when Bitcoin was, well, I forget the price now, a lot of people earned a lot of Satoshis. And that was microtransactions and Lightning making macro impact in people's lives, right? Like that is the difference. So your creations will change life. A little integration in Counter-Strike allowed Brazilians to post on Twitter. They said they paid bills, they bought medicine, they bought groceries. Yes, they bought the swag and the clothes and all of that, but this is purchasing power that your game, your integration is providing them. Like it changes lives. So remember that. This is a weird one, but think of it this way. Your entrepreneurship, your relentless go-getter mentality, your ability to, whether it's raise money, build products that people pay for, whatever it is, you create the floor for your people to build foundations on. And when I say that, I build families. Like there are a lot of little ZEBEDEEs walking around on the earth right now. It's insane to think about that. The impetus of starting the company has enabled the floor for these people to build their own foundations on top, right? There are people that have 3 kids, and that's because of you. You need to remember that you instill and enable this for people to live, to thrive. So your team will produce babies. Such a weird way to say this. And then this one is a big one, I think, for all of us here, right? Sorry. Every company, every software company is open source. Well, your end products may not be open source, but your Linux box is open source, your Docker containers are open source, your whatever package you're using is likely open source, Bitcoin's open source, Lightning's open source, everything is open. So whether you raise money, whether you make a little bit of money, whether you can, if you are a founder of a company in the space, just give back, okay? Take 1%, 5, whatever it is, $10. Give back in whatever way you can, whether it's funding a developer, whether it's supporting an initiative, supporting events like this. Like you have to give back because that's the only way that we progress. And to quote one of the greatest 21st century philosophers, Shia LaBeouf, just fucking do it, okay? Just do it. Just go out and give back. Just give money, okay? It's okay. Remember I told you that hiring talented people is really important and so on, and super hard. There's the colloquial, what's the saying? Like you are the representation of the closest 5 people to you or something along those lines. Pick your generals wisely. These are the people you're going to talk to every day. You're going to strategize with them. They're going to help you and nudge you in the right direction. Like, you have to pick the right first team. The first team is people that you talk to every day that go to war alongside you. Okay? Pick the right generals, because you will need them to support you when you're falling, because you will fall. At ZEBEDEE, we have this this notion of like the Everest. So the Everest is, the peak, the top, like we win. Okay, great. But to get to the top of Everest, there's a lot of, stops on the way. Probably no base camp, right? Getting to base camp, you could do it, but it's hard, okay? It's not easy. And so, let's say you start a company, you're at the very bottom of the mountain, the very, very bottom. And you're going to put these metrics and KPIs, which are going to sound incredibly ambitious. And you're going to say, I'm going to have 10 million users by the end of the month, and you're going to put it there. And that's great. And you're going to work relentlessly, and you're just going to go. And then you're going to get to the top. And you can say, great, did it. You beat that metric. You beat that KPI. You're winning. And then you look up and the mountain's still there. Nothing's changed. And so you will beat every single metric, and then you're going to move the goalpost every time. Take time to celebrate beating the metrics, because the goalpost never stops moving. You'll always move it. So if you beat the 10, you're going to set it to 100. You beat the 100, you're going to set it to 1,000. And so your team cannot be demotivated when you say, yes, now move it to 100. It's like, no, celebrate the wins. You will beat every metric, but then remember that the mountain is forever up. You will never reach Everest. And if you do, something went wrong. Yeah, I'm preaching to the choir here. Yeah, pick open networks wherever possible, the same way you should support open source and open networks and stuff. Just, pick open networks. I think we all in the room know that if you attach yourself, what does Michael Saylor say? You attach yourself to the Bitcoin rocket ship, and then your company and your business gets the network effects of it. Sure, pick open networks. There's lots of benefits, right? Why does Bitcoin grow so much? Why organically? There's no Bitcoin company being like, use Bitcoin. We're all doing that, right? So pick the open networks. If you're building on it, pick Bitcoin, pick Lightning. Don't pick some closed proprietary whatever coin you want to create, or opt for open networks. Interoperability is really key for the future. And then similarly to the bank account question, the other question I have is like, oh my God, how do you do this every day? Because it's so scary. Every day there's like a new massive problem, and something could happen, and you could end your company. You have to fire this person, so on and so on. And my answer to that is, the scariest part is actually the first part. Quitting your job and being crazy enough to say, I am going to follow this idea that's in my head. Like, you're insane and you're going to do it. That's the hardest part. You're basically proving to yourself that you're not crazy, but you kind of are. And you're willing to pursue it. The scariest part is doing that first leap. After the leap, yes, it's scary, but it's nothing like it. So if you already started your company, you're already past that. And in the end, you'll win, okay? I say this as someone who is winning, and I know lots of people in the industry are winning, and we're going to win fucking hard this year, okay? So in the end, you'll win, because you are relentless, right? You are unstoppable. You won't sleep until you win. You will obsess until it's perfect. You will learn so many different verticals and disciplines and things that you will perfect every part of your craft, and you will hit the biggest product market fit, and you will make a lot of money. Like, you will learn how to execute on your vision perfectly. You will win because you're crazy enough to win, right? And it goes back to the point, like, you're not just betting on yourself, you're betting on your team, but you're betting on Bitcoin, right? The open network of Bitcoin. And when you bet on Bitcoin, you're betting on the future. So all of us here in Bitcoin, we're betting on the future, a much brighter future. But instead of just betting on it, we don't just sit around and fuck around. We go out and we build that future. We literally bring that future forward, and we say, let's fucking build this now. And that's how you win, right? So that's why being a Bitcoin founder is the best thing you could ever do to your life. Thank you.